faithful, I won't lie. When you talk to me, it feels like you're right on me. All I wanna do is to make you whole. I can do the full. I try, you shove, it's back and forth for your love. You push, you fight, you choke. Hold me, please. I don't quit. Tick, tick, time runs on, almost on. But I'll never leave. It's just not enough for you. And it just takes it out of me. But I'll never leave. It's just not enough for you. And there is nothing like you.
Hey guys, and welcome to BisaNation. So this video is basically a DIY, and anyone who's been watching my channel for since the beginning knows that I've always loved thigh-high boots. I have my flat boots and I've got my knee-high boots. I love thigh-high boots especially, so I have a whole collection, so I'm going to show you some of those and just thigh-highs in general. And this is actually something that I've been doing for about 10 years, making. Basically, I'm calling this a DIY thigh-high tutorial because it's almost having leg warmers for your thighs. So instead of the 80s leg warmers, it's goes all the way up to your thighs, and you can wear them with boots and shoes to make a kind of thigh-high effect. I usually make them out of faux leather, but I wanted to make some velvet ones, and because all my plans kind of changed yesterday, I thought let me just shoot that because I was kind of behind schedule. So I thought, you know what, I've always wanted to make a velvet pair, so let me do it now. So I'm going to take you through what I did and how I did it. Okay, so first of all, I got some thigh-high boots. These are my thigh-highs. They're just kind of over the knee kind of thigh-highs, so they're quite high, but not as high as I want. Then I've got these velvet ones I've had for years and years, probably about 10 years or more. And then I've got these ones that are super high, and they are leather, they're real leather. Okay, so the reason I got 3 is because I wanted to use it as a trace, as a guideline to make my own thigh highs. But when you're using something else as a template, you kind of have to reference it because your fabric is going to be different and it's going to behave differently. So I got a velvet one to go with my velvet fabric because obviously that would be a more accurate measurement. But then this is how high I wanted it. So I just used them to kind of gauge that I was cutting it the right size. Okay, so what I did was I got a piece of velvet fabric I got from Fabricland in the UK, and this was kind of cheap because usually I make my dresses with the more expensive velvet, but this velvet was $3.99 or something like that, but it worked perfectly for this. So I folded my fabric in half and had the velvet part touching, so it was inside out, and then folded it again. That enables me to have 4 pieces when I cut. All I did was lay it down flat and trace around my boot shape all the way down to kind of this area. So I kind of had the entire length. I always overestimate when I cut because it's better to cut more than you need than less than you need, especially when you're using, clothes or something else as a template. It's just not worth it. If it's not big enough, then you've basically wasted fabric. So I traced around it. After I drew around it, I then cut around. I decided to put a bend in the knee, even though with this kind of fabric it doesn't need it. That's more for things like leather, things that have a bit more structure. but I wanted it to kind of have like a little bit of sagging so it looks like real boots as opposed to looking like leggings, if you know what I mean. But you don't have to do that. But you always want to make sure it goes in at the calf, just so it frames your leg. And after cutting, you end up with 4 pieces, but you've kind of got 2 back to back and another 2 back to back because of the way it's been folded. I've then tacked it. Tacking is basically making large stitching about 1 centimetre in length, and just kind of like a rough guide of stitching. After tacking it and making sure it fits, I used a sewing machine to stitch, secure stitching. Then when I stitched it with the sewing machine, that makes everything secure, and I ended up with like a trim at the end. I just basically rounded it at the heel so that that would cut under my heel. And then I just did the edges so it would be nice and neat at the edge. For the top hem, I folded it back on itself to make it neat so I didn't have all the trimming showing. I folded it back on itself, and then instead of a normal stitch, I did a zigzag stitch, The zigzag setting that I chose, I think was a bit tight, but it still works. That basically ensures that when it's being pulled and stretched, it's not going to pull out the stitching or pull out the stitching, because it's made to be stretched. Then you just turn it inside out and it looks all nice and neat, and that's basically your thigh warmers, whatever, I don't know what I'm calling them yet, but that's basically it, and then they look all nice and neat. I was going to make it shorter at the ankle, kind of like leggings, and then add a strap to it, but I decided to just keep it how I've done it, just to make sure that it wouldn't affect the style of my other the shoes that I wear. I was also going to kind of do like a crisscross style and like kind of incorporate it into a design, and I thought, you know what, if I keep it simple, I can then wear it with whatever I want. You can also make it into a full sock, so thigh-high socks, but then also that kind of disrupts the style of certain shoes. For example, if you have an open toe shoe or just a sandal with kind of cut out designs, it's going to affect the style because it's just going to look like a boot or kind of like a sock with a shoe over it. So this way was me basically incorporating a style so it looks like an add-on but blends. Obviously, if you use shoes or boots that are the same fabric, i.e. velvet, it's gonna work really well. You don't have to stick with the black shoe theme. You can use any color. I use like black and gold, and I also wore some silver shoes, and just you can make it look like a deliberate style. If you're not particularly looking for versatility and you just want to make some thigh-high boots, you can actually stitch these thigh-highs onto some sock boots and they should blend seamlessly. With what to wear, my skirt is quite short for this, but I personally, if I was styling this, would wear it with something that is still quite short, but like a jumper or a t-shirt, but something that kind of clings to the thighs so that obviously you can't see up the dress. But yeah, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this was clear. If you have any questions, comment below and let me know what you think of the thigh warmers. You can make them any length you want, obviously. I love the Balmain ones that go all the way up. I just think they're epic. So I thought I'd do this. I'm gonna make some leather ones again because I made some before, but I don't know where they are. So I'm gonna make some faux leather ones and other fabrics. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want some more DIY tutorials, give this video a thumbs up and I will see you in my next video. I love you guys, be bold, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.